ask me anything.
your core
Ask me anything.
lefty values.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of the Zionists were very left-wing.
Yes, I know.
I mean, the only place where socialism has ever really happened is in the kibbutzim in Israel.
Well, failure like in every other place where socialism was tried.
Is it failing as well? Okay.
Socialism never worked. Basically, a very, very blunt or simplistic way. Why is it moral for you to want to take my money and redistribute it to others, but it's immoral for me to want to keep money I work for? Because that is generally the...
Yeah, no, I mean, I can see you're attacking the left. I just believe that we are societies rather than individuals, and as a society I owe it to you to look after you if you're sick. I hope you do the same for me, and if we all work together we'll all be better off together. That's my take on socialism. My friend's dad once put it to me that the right wing care about the wallet, the left wing care about the heart, and if we are caring people, we'll care for our brother, and that's the kind of society I'm hopeful for. I would love a society like that in Israel-Palestine, where it wouldn't matter whether you're Jewish, Christian or Muslim, and people would care for each other.
See, the thing is, without ambition, and ambition, capitalism.
Oh, yeah. If everyone gets the same outcome, no one will do anything. No, you're absolutely right. I'm not a communist, that's for sure. I do acknowledge the need for incentive.
So why not allow every
progress?
Yes, why not allow every person to make their personal choice? Do you want to give to charity? Do you want to give to the poor beggars sitting homeless on the street?
Well, I think things like education and healthcare should be state funded.
To what degree?
Well, it's a good question. I don't know. I just think it should be a right. Things that are a right rather than a privilege.
I don't know, when you say a right.
Poor children should have as good an education as a rich child.
But again, when you say right, paid by whom?
The state or the taxpayers.
The state doesn't have any money.
No, all the
so
people.
What you're saying is I should work for you to have education.
I think we should all chip in.
It's not me and you, but
we should all chip in to make sure that poor children and rich children have the same shot at education.
What if the people who just don't want to work? They happy to be on the dole, just don't care. Homeless or whatever their problems, they're addicts or whatever thing. Should
the people that opt out of society?
Yes. Should I, as a person who does work and does contribute, should I be compelled to force them to get help, to be alive, if they don't want to contribute?
Good question.
I mean, in capitalism, pure capitalism, if you don't contribute, you die.
Yeah.
And I accept there's a social
Marx
element.
Acknowledged that every society has to go through a period of capitalism.
Personally, I mean, to me personally, I give a lot to charity. Yeah. But that's my choice. I work, I make money, and I give a lot to people who I think are also hardworking.
Yeah, jump in. Yeah.
I just want to say,
shout.
The word charity and the definition of charity. Charity sows the seeds of poverty.
Does it?
It does not ever and could ever actually resolve the issues which the charity claim they are trying to resolve. Their business model, for example, so if you give money to someone to try to save hunger or poverty, that business model, because it is a business, it's a charity, so we'll call it a business. That business model is dependent on poverty existing. Otherwise, that business, what you're calling charity, can never exist.
Yeah, it's true.
Therefore, they must have poverty in the world. They're actually actively in the business of creating poverty.
People say the same about pharmaceutical industry. There's no money in a cure, only treatment.
No money in a cure. And it sounds like some sort of joke or some glib thing to say. But in actual fact, it's actually true, because a lot of AIDS was spread in the 80s because the pharmaceutical companies, they decided to spread blood around the plasma blood, which was collected from people who had AIDS in prisons, and a lot of cases of people who died in the late 80s was due to these pharmaceutical companies who never went to prison. They went to court but they never went to prison. So charities and what you taught, it's a different subject.
Yeah, no way.
I mainly give to individuals.
Gives money to charity. They are never helping the world. There is no conscience to be conscious and moral conscience to walk away with that as a good transaction.
So I personally mainly give to individuals who I know, people I know who struggle, who work.
But the Jewish community is dependent on charity to survive.
I only give.
Which is why when Jeremy Corbyn comes along, the leaders of Jewish communities hate Jeremy Corbyn because Jeremy Corbyn will make sure there is no poverty to begin with where charity would even exist. You don't need charity when your government and your leaders actually genuinely care.
The Jewish community is not a monolith. But the Jewish community is not a monolith either. There's no
the Jewish. I was reading the Jewish Chronicle the other day.
Yes, which is not representative of.
Well, this is terrible news what Jeremy Corbyn's doing because he will destroy rich people, giving money to poor people.
That's representative of the Jewish Chronicle.
Is the Jewish state representative of the Jewish?
Thank you for your time.
Hey, thank you, Philip. Thank you very much.
Have a nice evening.
Thank you.
No, well, yeah, of course, a bit of a loaded.
It's a loaded question.
Is the Jewish state does that represent?
I don't think it is.
Does it represent Jewish people? No.
You're watching Lessons for Life 24/7.
Does it represent Jewish people?
Yeah.
No. But is it also true that, well, I say maybe not every single time, but generally speaking, when a person says they're against the state of Israel, very, very often they are just anti-Semitic. It's just a more palatable way of saying.
This comes back to what Jaya said to Joseph, and I absolutely acknowledge that there are anti-Semites who dislike Israel because it is a Jewish state, and we must root them out of our ranks. And I describe myself as an anti-Zionist to differentiate myself from an anti-Semite. Perhaps I hope you don't suspect that I am an anti-Semite posing as a left-wing. I just don't like racism. Look, honestly, I hope you can feel that I have no animosity towards
certainly I've not
Jewish
felt
people.
any animosity.
Good.
But,
I do appreciate that, and we must tread carefully when it comes to these issues. And Joseph said, well, why not then call yourself a pro-Palestinian? And I took that on board.
Like, for example, I walk about here in Hyde Park. I can't count how many times I'm being stopped by people and asked, why do your people, meaning Israeli government? Well, I'm British. I was born here. My parents were born here. Some of my grandparents were born here. Some came from Europe, Poland, Romania. But I'm a few generations British and quite a few generations the other side. I've got nothing with the Israeli state. And
but you have the right to live there.
Yes, we call it a Jewish state. It's I'm obviously Jewish and I'm a religious Jew. But that's a secular state. It's got some historical. They use the Jewish, the religious Jewish history, but broadly speaking, it's
Jewish in an ethnic sense rather than in a religious sense.
Right? No, there are some religious shades, perhaps coloured status quo because they want to satisfy certainly when they set it up, they wanted to satisfy the religious element of the Jewish people, but it's a secular state in all senses of the word. Many places they don't keep any of the Torah commandments at all. In some places there are some similarities where they keep some. Let's say, for example, in Britain nowadays we still got Sunday laws, trading laws, which are Christian relic of the Christian Sabbath, and you've got this kind of idea on the Saturday there which is the Jewish Sabbath, and religious people don't work at all. You've got some places where you're not allowed, the buses won't run, but it's a secular state. So a person talking to me like your people...
And it's quite left-wing in some senses.
Yes, it is.
It has state education.
Well, it was very strongly left-wing, the parties that set it up. Now there's more of a balance, but certainly was set up a very strong socialist, left-wing, communist. There was very strong communist. I think, if I'm not mistaken, they actually enjoyed some support from communist Russia in the beginning because of that. But so my point is, you have people asking me the whole time, what about your people or your government? How is that my government? And that's because people generally, they conflate Jews and Israelis and Israel and Jews. which is why I said that very often when people hate Israel, they're just hating Jews. Because, of course, we can split hairs and we can explain there is a difference. But in many, many people's minds, there is no difference. It's one and the same. A Jew is an Israeli, Israeli is a Jew, is a Zionist, Israeli. So when you hate one, you hate the other.
It's important not to conflate that, and I appreciate you bringing that up.
Yes, it is. So when you ask, does Israel represent Jews? It doesn't. But of course, the way it's often seen is, yes, Jews, all Jews. I mean, even Jews in general, because we look different, we are a distinct group. Very often you'll get the right wing, the far right, the Storm Front, that kind of places. So you'll have a Jew doing something, it'll be Jews do this. Again, why? What's that got to do with me? And often it'll be such ludicrous plots. For example, it'll be like the Jewish Talmud has this plot, and it's the secular Jews who do it, who don't keep any of the Jews. Basically, it's the Jews are all lumped into one big.
That's very dangerous.
It's dangerous.
That is dangerous.
It's also how it is. We do it often with other people, like blacks are this, or Italians are this. We generally do it. I mean, that's really how we navigate the world. We can't get to know every single person on an individual basis and know exactly. So we just tend to put them together in a group identities. And as long as we remember that people can be separate from their group identities,
an identity is always multi-layered.
It is to some degree a sensible way of looking at the world. For a woman, for example, who goes on the street, and to be more fearful or more careful even from a man that he might assault her, you say, well, not every man, of course not. But there'll be more men who assault women study sexually than there'll be the other way around. So as long as you remember that people can be separate from their group identities, then it is a fairly...
I'm all about putting the differences to one side, and I appreciate you speaking to me.
Okay, thank you very much.
We'll do it again?
Yes,
Thank you very much.
Yeah,
Thank you very much. Thank you guys. Oh, thank you very much.
Yeah.